Of course. Forgive my unprofessionalism, guys. Why isn't the chat coming up? That's weird. Well, I guess I'll have to look at it from my phone so I can keep up with you guys. Oh gosh. Alrighty. Hey guys, what's up? Oh dear, what's going on with me? I'm sorry, it's like 9:19, 9:20. I'm just now getting in here. Forgive me, I know some of you guys have been waiting. Honestly, don't know how long I'm going to be live today just because I'm not feeling the greatest. I've been like sneezing and coughing all day. I guess it happens. Well, it happens when your partner is sick. And, you know, I still want to kiss her too. So, but anyways, we are here. Hopefully people will jump on. If not, then I will probably end up doing this tomorrow as well. Or do something for tomorrow. But in any event, I'm definitely wishing you all the best. Definitely wishing you all the greatest. I haven't been live on YouTube in a while. I've been doing lives on Instagram and stuff, but I haven't been live on here. And honestly, it's just been kind of weird. Like the past week, it's just been kind of weird. Honestly, you know, my partner's been sick most of the time, so I've been, you know, tending to her and everything, and make sure that she feels good and stuff, and you know, taking care of her and all that. And but I do have some good news for you all, which I'll talk about at the end of this video. I'll probably end up making a video especially for that. But I do have some good news for you guys. Something I've been working on, one of these projects that I'm super excited that I finally finished, which is going to free time up for me to actually work on some other things that I've been really wanting to do. But, you know, anyways. It's not bad. I've been trying several different red wines lately. Trying to, like, you know, expand my wine palate, knowledge, whatever. This is a, I want to say this is a, I think this is a red Zin. But it's not really super, it's not sweet at all, actually. It's interesting. It has like a spice kick to it at the end there. It's kind of interesting. What's going on, Mimi? How are you doing? Mimi Yamaguchi. Thank you so much for joining. This is the end of Leo season extravaganza. I probably don't sound the greatest because, like I said, I've been coughing and sneezing pretty much all day. I don't know. I honestly was thinking about moving the live to tomorrow, but I know that you know, people have been kind of like waiting and stuff like that, and I don't want to keep you guys waiting and stuff, and I'm not so bad to where I can't go live. I just don't want to sound like this, and it kind of sucks too because I'm sitting here wanting to make videos and stuff, but then I sound like this, and like I have to cough every now and again and sneeze and stuff like that, and you know it comes with, you know, having a cold and stuff, but these things happen, you know. But in any event, it's the end of Leo season, guys. We made it. We are here. Yahoo! Boy, what a ride. The Leo season flew by. We had a lot of fiery energy in Leo. We had Venus there. We had Mars. We had the Sun. Now we have Mercury. And now all of these energies are starting to shift into Virgo. That was so fast. Leo season went by so freaking fast. It felt like Cancer season was long. Cancer season felt long because of those eclipses. It was like time literally stopped during the week of those eclipses. During that new moon solar eclipse in Cancer, and then that lunar eclipse that we had in Capricorn. Like, time stopped during Cancer season. Leo season was like, hey, it just took off running down the red carpet, getting into those theater seats, the movie played, and now we're about to leave the theater. And we're about to, like, you know when you leave the theater and you almost forget about how the outside looks? And then, like, you walk outside and maybe it's like, you know, maybe the sun's going down and it's still kind of bright. And you're like, oh, what, huh? That's what we're coming into right now. That's what it's coming into. Welcome, Wild Magi 11. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for joining. We're going to have to connect again very soon. But thank you so much for popping on. I know I'm a little bit late, guys. Forgive me. Thanks for being patient with me and stuff. I know I haven't been doing everything that I said I was going to do, and I still want to, as far as like different videos and different content. But I have been working on some other projects that one of them I finally have finished. Except there's one weird little thing that went wrong with it, but it's not that big of a deal. It's something I can fix. It's something I can get around. It's not that big of a deal. But we'll talk about that later, because I'm probably going to be making a promo video for that anyways. But we're just going to be chatting up, talking about the end of this Leo season and really what's to come. We're moving from this stellium in Leo to this stellium in Virgo. And we have to remember that this stellium in Virgo is going to be trining over to Uranus retrograde. It's going to be trining over to all this Capricorn energy, where Saturn is. And Saturn's going to be going direct very soon. It's going to go direct to September, I believe, actually. And then, of course, we have the South Node there. We have Pluto there. And these energies are all going to be squaring Jupiter. And it's going to be the last time that these energies square Jupiter while Jupiter is in its home sign of Sagittarius for a while. Because, you know, Jupiter's not going to be back there for at least another 12, 13 years. It's going to be a while before we get those energies again. So this is a pretty important time right now. It's a pretty important time. And, you know, with this Leo season, we got to remember, this is like the first Leo season that, you know, I mean, the last Leo season that we had the nodes here. So there was quite a bit of, you know, there was some stress that was going on. With the North Node in Leo, the South Node in Aquarius, there was quite a bit of stress. But this time around, when we got that new moon in Leo, and then we got the full moon in Aquarius, there wasn't as much stress on those energies. So what's interesting about these is that now the seeds that we set during that new moon in Leo are going to be, you know, we're going to be reaping those seeds, and we're going to be seeing exactly how they grew when we get that full moon in Leo. That's going to happen in Aquarius season, but we still have a little bit before then. And of course, like I said, the full moon in Aquarius that we had too, that's going to be, you know, at 22 degrees, mind you. Those were the seeds that we read from the full moon that we had recently. And I want to say, I mean, the nodes were still actually where they were. Let me go look. Let's see. Just a real quick second. I want to see exactly where those energies were. Because that last full moon in Aquarius. Yeah. It was actually it was a lunar eclipse in Aquarius that we had. And then, of course, we had the new moon that was there, too. And the new moon, let's see, hold on. That new moon was actually, was at, I guess, about 15-ish degrees. Yeah, that new moon was about at 15-ish degrees. That new moon in Aquarius that we had back in February. This is while Mercury was with the sun too. So it's kind of interesting too, because with the with all these energies that happened with the last full moon that we just had in Aquarius, Venus was with the sun. But with this particular new moon that we had in Aquarius back on February 4th, that was at 15 degrees of Aquarius, and Venus was in Capricorn, mind you. So it was almost like Venus and Mercury kind of switched positions, because Mercury was traveling with the sun at that point. Anyways, I kind of digress. I just want to kind of let you know that, you know, whatever happened back in early February of this year, a lot of that has manifested now in this Leo season. So now we're taking the aspects of that Leo new moon, and we're going to see how that manifests over the next 6 months. But as of right now, if we just take a look at the energies right now, we have, interesting enough, this is funny how this stuff works because you can't make this stuff up. So like I said, that new moon that we had in Aquarius at 15 degrees on February 4th, which we just manifested based off of the full moon that we just had at 22 degrees of Aquarius, while the sun was at 22 degrees of Leo and Venus was conjunct the sun. Guess where Mercury is right now? At 15 degrees of Leo. So it's actually opposing that new moon spot. You can't make this stuff up, guys. And this happened on the day that Venus just happened to be going into Virgo. And now we're going to have the sun coming into Virgo very, very shortly. The sun's at 28 degrees, so it's approaching the star Regulus, the fixed star Regulus. So this is the heart of the lion. This is a really powerful point. You know, this is really about this true, deeper sense of courage and passion. And it's like, you know, what I'm getting this whole vision and thought process from like the Lion King, right? And we recently went and saw, you know, the remake of The Lion King, which it was great, by the way. If you haven't seen it, you should go watch it. I mean, I don't know if any of the remakes of the other films are going to touch what The Lion King did, because I felt like The Lion King, it stuck as close to the original as it could. There were some things that it obviously had to change, but it was a really good depiction. But it was interesting because I remember there was a point where Mufasa was speaking to Simba, you know, when Simba was a cub, and he was talking about how he gets scared too, and how he gets scared more than Simba probably realizes. But he continues to move forward. He continues to embody that bravery and courage because he has a pride to look after. He has all of that kingdom to look after. So it's not like kings and queens don't become afraid or scared. Of course they do. And it's like sometimes that even can put a lot of stress on them because they feel like they have to put on this face, have to put on this mask in front of the people, and to where it shows that they're confident, they're brave, they're courageous, they can't be broken down. But then it's like, what's the 12th house to Leo? Cancer. There are certain individuals that are close to these people that really know the true stuff, that they really can actually come out with. And we got to remember, that's where the North Node is in. The North Node's in Cancer. It's been in the 12th house to the sun for this whole month. So there's been this whole undercurrent of these deeper emotional, intuitive energies, especially when it comes to relaying back to our ancestors. I think that's a huge thing. I think the North Node of Cancer right now is especially connecting us back to our ancestors. I feel like the last 10 degrees is more along the lines of like the super intuitive, more spiritual aspects. Then you get the middle 10 degrees. I feel like that's going to be more like close friends and ancestors. And then those first 10 degrees, that's when we're going to start to focus really more on ourselves. But right now, the North Node's at 16 degrees of Cancer, making a trine over to Neptune. So this is a pretty powerful moment where it is about, you know, taking time to like talk to those that do get us and do understand us. We got to understand that these people that have passed on, they have a vantage point that we don't have. So like there's a sense of comfort that comes from these individuals, and they can see, even if you are in a moment of like you're having to put on this face of confidence, that you are vulnerable and you can be afraid, and that's okay. I had a major breakdown the other night. And it was strange because I felt really, really vulnerable. But what was interesting about the whole breakdown is that I didn't cry until the end, but the tears weren't really out of sadness. They were out of this sort of relief. Almost, I'm not going to say joy, because I wasn't like laughing or anything like that, but it wasn't sadness. The tears weren't of sadness. It was more of this acceptance. So I think right now what's happening with this end of Leo season is that now we're about to all walk out of the theater. And what's going to happen is that even though the sun's going to be shifting into Virgo, Mercury is still going to be in Leo. So we're going to be talking about the movie. We're going to be talking about the movie until what? August 29th. We're going to be talking about it until then. And that's going to be, of course, the moon's going to be in the dark moon phase. So we're going to be talking about the movie. And then when we stop talking about the movie, we're going to be going through all of our feelings about the movie. Because the moon's going to be at 19 degrees of Leo. And, oh my goodness, 19 degrees of Leo. Wasn't that where Mercury was during the Aquarius new moon back in February? Yes, I believe Mercury was at 19 degrees of Aquarius, and now the moon's going to be opposing that spot. You see how this all works? This is beautiful geometry. I want to show you guys, and I probably will have to make a video on this specifically, because I think that's actually really interesting, because I just looked it up, and I'm like, are you serious? Like, are you kidding me? You can't make this stuff up, guys. You can't make it up. You really can't. I want to say that it's on the, I want to say it's on the 30th that we're actually going to have the new moon in Virgo. And that's going to be at 6 degrees, looks like, of Virgo. Which is going to be trining over to Uranus. Ooh, very fun. Very fun. But, let's see. I wonder what will happen to all of us Earth signs. You're about to get a major upgrade. All the Earth signs are about to get a major upgrade. My ancestors have come through strong. Yeah, and particularly my grandmothers have come through very strong for me. Yeah, Earth signs, you're about to get a major upgrade. Virgo is very slept on. Like, people think that, Virgo does in many ways rule reality. It does kind of rule purity in a sense. It does rule details. It is a mercurial planet traditionally. It does rule healing. It does rule health. It does rule our our day-to-day routine and stuff like that. But people forget and sleep on the fact that Virgo is opposite Pisces, which doesn't mean that it doesn't necessarily mean that it's not Pisces or anti-Pisces. It's two sides of the same coin. So you need both of them. And Pisces is arguably the most magical sign. So with Virgo being opposite of Pisces, you can make the same case that Virgo is one of the most magical signs. It's just incredibly slept on. It's incredibly slept on. You gotta think, it's mutable earth. It actually is alchemy. If you think about it, from taking like coal and turning it into silver, copper, or gold, like that's actually what Virgo rules. Like that actual alchemy of being able to take something physical and to change it into something else. That's Virgo, right? So it's going to be a fun Virgo season. It really is, because it's going to be interesting because, we're going to have Mars in Virgo while, Mars, while Mars is in Virgo, Mars definitely works hard and stuff like that. But sometimes Mars is halted by all of these different procedures that he has to go through with Virgo. Because Virgo has a certain number of steps that you have to go through, and Mars just wants to get things done. But, Mars is going to be sort of like, Mars is going to be kind of a little impatient in Virgo. Then you got Venus, which is going to be in Virgo. And Venus, this is its fall position. It doesn't like to be in Virgo, right? Rather much be exalted in Pisces, where it can be all into the unicorns and the fairies and like this whole ideal. Whereas in Virgo, it's sort of like, this is the reality of it. And it's like, oh my goodness, trying to find beauty in the reality of things. Like, that's going to be kind of intense, right? But Venus and Mars are going to be moving together. And interesting enough, Venus will actually be moving ahead of Mars. And what you're going to see here, and I probably need to go back and look to see when's the last time they swapped spots. But Mars has been leading the charge for such a long time. Which means that, if you think about it, now we all have divine masculine, divine feminine energy. But the masculine energy has been leading the charge for a great portion of the year. Now Venus is going to move ahead of Mars, which means that the feminine is going to actually start to take charge and move ahead. So you're going to start to see this pop up, especially since this is in Virgo. You actually are going to have external examples. You're going to have external examples of the feminine energy kind of moving ahead and taking charge. And you're going to see some people okay with it. You're going to see some people that aren't so okay with it because they have been fed this belief about the genders and about these gender roles and the feminine and the masculine and their roles and stuff. They've been fed these different beliefs. And yes, they do occupy in many ways two different spaces. But once again, they're two sides of the same coin. So there are times in history where the masculine does take charge. There are times when the feminine takes charge. A lot of this has to do with the fact that Mars and Venus do this dance where they go back and forth like this. And yes, there are other masculine planets and other feminine planets, but these are the two major planets because A, they're the personal planets. You can't really count Mercury because Mercury is almost sort of like a hermaphrodite, so you can't really count Mercury. And then the outer planets, they move slower, but Mars and Venus move quickly. So that's why it's important to pay attention to them. You're going to see the feminine energy kind of, move past the male energy a bit. Not that it's trying to be better or stand over or whatever like that. It's just going to come through more prominent. It's going to be leading the charge. So Virgo rules alchemy. Alchemy, you see, when it comes to rulerships, you got to understand that different signs can rule different things. When I said that Virgo rules alchemy, I'm talking about literally how you can take something physical and turn it into something else. Because alchemy is transformation, right? So it's mutable earth. So it's about, say, you look at a vacant lot, right? And alchemy will be to take that vacant lot and to clear it out and to plant trees where it'll be like really nice and beautiful, and to plant flower garden and stuff like that, and to put a house there and to build it up. That's alchemy. If you want to talk about other forms of alchemy, you could say that it's ruled by Sagittarius. You could say that it can be ruled by Scorpio. The Scorpio-Sagittarius kind of axis right there, that's alchemy. So it's not just, when we talk about rulerships, it's not defined to just one sign. That's the one thing I think that we need to get past in astrology, is that yes, in many ways you can say that, Leo, love is ruled by Leo. Like, we can say that. But to say that means that, where's the love for the other 11 signs? It's there. It's just that Leo is probably the most prominent example of love. But that doesn't mean that there's not love in the other areas. You see what I'm saying? So it's like different things are ruled by different energies and different planets. They're co-rulerships. They all work together, essentially. I enjoyed the Virgo energy too. It was funny too, because when I started really getting into astrology, I was realizing that, dude, I am surrounded by Virgos. But it makes sense because that's my midhaven, and I have my Jupiter in Virgo too. So, and funny enough, my dad is a Virgo sun at, I want to say 9 or 10 degrees, and I have my Jupiter in Virgo at 11 degrees. So my Jupiter conjuncts his sun. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, so Venus is going to be moving ahead of Mars quite soon, and they're going to conjunct on Saturday, and then come the next day, Venus is actually going to move ahead of Mars. And we gotta consider, Mars has been leading the charge for months. For months, Mars has been leading the charge. Mercury was ahead of it for a little bit, but I'm talking about just in comparison to Mars and Venus. Mars has been ahead of Venus for quite a while now. We have to go back to see when was the last time Venus was really ahead, and it's going to be a while because Venus does move a little bit faster than Mars does. Mars went retrograde in Aquarius. We all remember the gnarly Mars retrograde in Aquarius. Oh my gosh, last year that was ridiculous. So when I say ahead, I would say that, you want to look at it at least when does a planet become ahead and when does it become behind? That's probably a topic for another video. I would say that once you get past the quincunx or the opposition, that's when it can kind of almost be like you're lapping it. But essentially, Venus has been ahead of Mars since pretty much It was pretty much ahead of it all last year, essentially. But if we want to look at the last time Venus pretty much overtook Mars, you got to go all the way back to 2017, guys. You got to go back all the way to 2017. Otherwise, essentially, Venus has pretty much caught up to Mars, and now it's finally about to pass. But as far as the last time that Venus overtook Mars, you got to go all the way back to 2017. And this was when they conjuncted, ironically, in Virgo. They conjuncted in Virgo around 16, 17 degrees. So when this happened, Venus overtook Mars, and then we go into 2018, and that was the whole craziness where we had that Mars retrograde in Aquarius. Oh gosh, with the nodes there, that was intense, guys. That was intense. So by the time that Mars went retrograde, Venus was, let's see, hold on, let me look at this. Yeah, Venus was opposing Mars too. So Venus ended up opposing Mars during that retrograde in the summer of 2018, the summer of last year. And then Venus started to catch back up to Mars. But like I said, we haven't had the actual conjunction since 2017. It's the last time that Venus overtook Mars. So you don't really get this too often. It probably happens every other year, essentially. That's what it's looking like. We're about to get this now. We're about to get this in just a few days. And like I said, this is a pretty intense aspect because you're going to see this begin to pop up in our reality. We're moving into this Virgo season. This Leo season was really about expression. It wasn't necessarily about getting ahead. It wasn't necessarily about crushing it. It wasn't necessarily about seeing, alright, I'm a little bit salty, honestly. It wasn't necessarily about seeing how much money you can make. It wasn't necessarily about all these different things. It wasn't necessarily about seeing how successful you can be. It was about expression. Pure expression. Why? Because Mars was here. Venus was here. Mercury was here. It was about expression. And the nodes were not here. This was about the love that we feel in our hearts and expressing that love that we have in our heart, regardless of the external stimuli, regardless of the external situation. We got to remember, this Leo energy, it's been king kunxing over to Capricorn this whole time. And all the energies in Capricorn have been retrograde this whole time. So it's like, it's not that we can't, it's not like we can't focus on our purpose or our career or success. But these energies were retrograde. They weren't moving forward. They weren't creating new opportunities. This was really about just getting into our heart space, getting into our sacred heart space, and really being authentically us, having the courage and the bravery to be us no matter what. When Saturn comes online, we're going to start to see these opportunities arise more. But all these energies are going to be in Virgo, which is going to be making that trining aspect, which is going to be beautiful because trines bring what I call miracles. Trines bring miracles. Sextiles bring opportunities. Trines bring miracles. So it's going to be like, we're going to get all this energy moving into Virgo. Yes, it's going to oppose the Neptune energy, but here's the cool thing about the Neptune energy. It's retrograde, which means Neptune retrograde is essentially lucid, like lucid dreaming, but like you're like awake, right? So you gotta understand, when Neptune is going forward, he's asleep. Neptune is asleep, he's like sleepwalking, right? He's like super magical about it. When Neptune is retrograde, Neptune is awake. Neptune is awake and everything is still trippy, but you're like awake. And that's like lucid while you're in your like waking life. It's going to be sextiling the Capricorn energy while opposing all the Virgo energy that we're about to get. So what's going to be beautiful about this is that now that Saturn's going to start to come online, it's slowing down already, and it's going to come forward. We're going to be starting to open these opportunities now that in many ways with our dreams with Neptune, we are awake about it, and it's kind of lucid. It's almost like it's stranger than fiction in many ways. That's kind of a good way to describe it. Stranger than fiction. So these opportunities are going to begin to open up, but we have to be honest with ourselves about our beliefs. Because Pisces still does rule beliefs. It's not just Sagittarius. It's also Pisces. So we're going to get that opposition to the Pisces energy and that square to the Jupiter energy too. So really, this Leo season was about believing in yourself. Because if you go into this Virgo season and you don't believe in yourself, you're going to feel crushed. And I'm putting it very bluntly like that just to kind of get across what I'm trying to say here. It's like, if you go into this Virgo season and you don't believe in yourself, even if external stimuli are telling you otherwise, even if external stimuli are telling you and it's giving you all these facts and details about who you are, what you're capable of and stuff, but if you don't still believe in the sacredness of your heart and the sacredness of that love, that unconditional love that you have for yourself, like you're gonna get crushed. Like, cause like Virgo is gonna come down hard because it's like a reality. It's gonna be like this harsh reality that comes down, and it's gonna kind of suck because people may freak out. You know, people may freak out, especially when it comes to that opposing over to Neptune. People are gonna want to escape. People escape in Virgo just as much as they do Pisces. You just don't really hear about it because people always talk about Pisces being an escape. Virgo's an escape too. But it's like, sometimes you can escape into like, and Virgo is kind of weird about the way that they escape. Virgo usually escapes by cleaning a lot. You know, not that cleaning isn't a bad thing, but I think it's kind of interesting. You know how you hear the term spring cleaning? But spring is Aries, and I don't really consider Aries much of a cleaning kind of energy. Maybe like a new energy, as far as letting out the old and letting in the new, like the new astrological cycle. But Virgo rules cleaning. And it's kind of interesting how that works, because it's like the end of summer with Virgo, so we have like one more month of summer. It's kind of weird, right? So there can be a tendency to kind of like escape through trying to like clean up, things. This Virgo season is a time to, really take our health into consideration. Maybe do some type of cleanses, maybe try to get on some type of workout or exercise routine. But you also don't want to do these things in spite of your, authentic self. Like, you don't want to do these things just because... You don't want to do these things if it makes you feel inauthentic. Right? Like, it's good, of course, to be healthy and to do right and stuff. I'm giving you guys some unconventional wisdom. I'm not saying to eat at McDonald's every single day, Virgo season. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying to just drink soda and not drink water, okay? But what I'm saying is that, this Leo season was teaching us about authenticity. And as much as I'm starting to not like the word authenticity because it's overused, that's what it did. So in Virgo season, we may feel tendencies to want to act on certain things or to try and clean up certain areas of our life, and that's good and stuff, but we have to make sure that our intentions are pure. Otherwise, we'll be doing things out of spite, or we'll be doing things to try and impress other people, and that's not good. Now, you don't want to do things just to impress other people, because, we're gonna kind of want to do that too, because these energies are going to be trining over to Uranus. Uranus does rule other people in the collective in many ways, and of course we're going to have Mercury moving into Virgo too, so there's going to be a lot of talk about these different things too, about lifestyles. But Uranus is retrograde, so this isn't really a time to be focusing on what other people think is valuable. Because Taurus is, of course, the house of value and possessions and self-worth. Uranus is retrograde. It's not really time to be worried about other people's possessions, what other people may deem as valuable. This is time to focus on what you deem as valuable, what you deem as true. It seems like a lot of relationships are ending. And the reason why is because Juno has been in the mix, and no one's really been talking about it. The Leo Kings talked about it a little bit, but we do have the asteroid Juno, which does rule marriages. It does rule partnerships. It kind of rules it more so than Libra does, and it has been in Leo. It's at 29 degrees of Leo right now. And the Sun is going to conjunct Juno, and these are also really close to the fixed star Regulus. So that's the heart of the lion. a lot of relationships are ending right now because it's been a tough, a lot of, with Juno being at the edge of Leo, you gotta understand it's going into a new cycle. It's going to be going into Virgo. So it's like people are really having to be honest with themselves about what they truly feel in their heart, what they really truly want to express from their heart space. So relationships are ending right now. It's not easy, it can be very uncomfortable, but an uncomfortable truth is better than a comfortable lie, right? Or so they say. So a lot of relationships are ending. A lot of relationships are also changing and morphing. My relationship is changing and morphing with my partner. Like it's crazy. Like we've been through so much and stuff, and it's been an intense, wild ride, and I really do love her. And I think this past week really a lot of my caring, compassionate side came out. I mean, naturally, she was sick, but it's like it just sucked to see her that way. It really did suck to see her that way, and I've been dealing with mental stuff and anxieties about not only our relationship but other things. But all of these things affect each other. So I've been worried about money. I've been worried about our relationship. I've been worried about my relationship with my dad and my mom. I've been worried about my family and stuff like that. And of course, the world at large and the environment. All these things affect each other and stuff. And it's wondering, there's a lot of different things, right? Just being open and honest with you guys. But this past week showed me just how much I really care about this person. And I'm just I don't want to see her like that again. I know I will, but it's it sucked to see her that way. So a lot of relationships are ending, and it's not easy. And even the relationships that are continuing, it's still not easy because they're going through a major transformation. They're going through a major fucking transformation. We got to remember, too, if you want to, even look at it, if you want to take it a step further, this Juno and Leo Sun conjunct that we're about to have is actually trining over to the spot where Uranus was retrograde the last time it went retrograde. Because it retrograded back to 28 degrees of Aries. So, I know that was a little bit a while ago, but, look who else is in Aries. Chiron. So, and, that's not going to be easy. With these energies moving into Virgo, as they make a quincunx over to Chiron, Venus is about to make that quincunx over to Chiron in a few days, by next week. Juno moves, I think it's I can't remember exactly how fast it moves around, but Juno will be making that quincunx too. So that's not going to be easy. Yeah, a lot of relationships are being put to the test right now. I think one of the major issues that I've seen within the spiritual self-help community and stuff like that is this whole weird expectations on relationships that we have. This whole twin flame soulmate thing. And it's this whole oh, I have to go find myself thing, and I'm not raining on that whole thing as far as oh, it's not you, it's me, I gotta go find myself. But I do feel a lot of people within this community do throw away relationships that don't have to be thrown away. I suppose it's fate and destiny that it happens, but I think that there's still a great element of choice here when it comes to relationships. Because here's the thing, and this is something that's been ringing within my my awareness as of lately. Connection is usually automatic. Love is something that is built. This is what I mean by that. And this actually does fit in with this whole Leo thing too. So connection is usually automatic. If you connect with someone. You can connect with someone pretty much instantly, right? It's usually very automatic, right? And sometimes people confuse that as love at first sight, It doesn't necessarily have to be romantic, whatever like that, but let's just take it from a romance standpoint, right? Connection is usually automatic. Usually automatic. Love is built. Love is built. Now, love is the only thing that exists, in my personal opinion. But love is built over time. And sometimes the connect, and then once you get to that point where like you like really begin to feel love for someone, it's like you're not always going to connect with them too. Me and her don't always connect on the same thing. We're not always on the same frequency. Does that mean that it's over just because we're not resonating at the same frequency at that particular moment or that day or maybe a stretch of days? No, it doesn't mean that. I think a lot of times people forget that in relationships, you are supposed to disagree. You are supposed to not always resonate on the same frequency. You are supposed to not always see eye to eye. Now, if it stays that way for extended periods of time, then that's when issues can start to arise, you know, and things have to be worked out and stuff. But connection is usually automatic. Love is something that is built. And if you want to take it a step further astrologically, even though all of the signs are love, but let's just say that Leo is love, right? Let's just say that Leo is love. What is the 10th house to Leo? Taurus. Taurus, fixed earth, the foundation, being able to build something, right? So that's really freaking important. Love is built over time, and sometimes it's slow. It's a slow process. I think a lot of times when you hear the word twin flame and soulmate, we're giving these images of running around on the beach somewhere in Bali, and you're like both social media influencers or something like that, or you're like running around in the mountains of India together, or you're doing, I don't know, like, you're like saving like the whales in like Greenland or something like that. I don't know. And I'm not saying that you can't do that, but there are twin flames and soulmates where they both work regular 9-to-5 jobs and it seems mundane as shit. It does not seem spiritual on the outside at all, but they still have that twin flame soulmate like vibe, right? They still have that vibe. That exists, but I think we get so caught up in thinking that it has to be like Disney World when it comes to these relationships, and that's simply not the case. Sometimes it's like Disney, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's just a regular day. Sometimes it's just a regular ass day. Sometimes it's just a regular ass fucking day. Express yourself. Impress yourself. Amen. So, yes, saw one of those today. As this one post said, you don't buy a new house when the yard is no longer green or the grass is dying. You water the grass, feed the grass, nurture the grass. Relationships are the same way. Exactly. 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 You don't know how many, like, it's kind of starting to die down, but, like, I get so frustrated with seeing these posts about twin flames and soulmates and all this sort of stuff. And I'm like, yo, like, it ain't exactly the way I keep thinking it is. Don't get it twisted. It is kind of a fantasy. Don't get it twisted. Like, it still can be like Disney, but it's not always going to look like that, you know? It's not always going to look like that. You know, just because you find your twin flame or your soulmate doesn't mean that suddenly you guys are going to be driving around in an RV and camping around the continent and you're just going to be, you know, living out of an RV and it doesn't mean you're going to do that. You can do that. Honestly, it sounds fun. I want to do that at some point, but that doesn't mean that that has to be your reality. And if it doesn't manifest immediately, that doesn't mean that you have to get frustrated. I think that's like this whole thing that kind of gets perpetuated. It's like when you find that person, like, your whole life changes. And it will, but it doesn't change exactly in the way that we like to think it will. That's a delusion that we've been fed. That's a delusion that we've been fed, and a lot of people, unfortunately, have thrown away perfectly healthy relationships because they felt like they weren't on the same frequency as a person, or they weren't vibing. You're not always going to vibe. You're not always going to vibe. That's just the simple fact of it. You're not always going to vibe. It's not a bad thing. It happens. If it happens for extended periods of time and neither party wants to work at trying to meet some type of mutual understanding, then, like I said, that is when you really need to consider whether you're with the right person or not. But if both parties are still willing to put in the effort, if both parties choose, there isn't many ways of choice, if they choose to remain in that relationship and they choose to love, then yeah. Love is all I got. I can't live. Love is all I got. Loving. Oh crap! I forgot the lyrics as soon as I was singing it. Love is all I got. I can't live. Love is all I got. Only love in my life. Love is all. Yeah, there it is. That's what it was. Freaking Feed Me and Crystal Fighters. Love is all I got. It's actually on my Radiate Love playlist on Spotify, which I think I have in the description below. If you haven't already gone to it, I think I made it public. I'm not entirely sure, but anyways, it's been a fun Leo season. It really has, and it's technically not over. It won't be over technically until Mercury comes into Virgo. We got about 8 days. And the cool thing too is that the moon will be in Leo that day too. So the moon will come into Virgo on the 30th. So we got about a week left, and then we're going to be in Virgo City. We went from all that fire energy to all of this earth energy. We're going to have Venus, Mars, Sun, Moon, Mercury, Uranus, Saturn, Pluto, South Node, all in earth signs. Reality's about to hit us like a freaking freight train in the middle of the night. It's about to hit us like a freight train in the middle of the night. We have no air energy, guys. No air energy. You want to know how many miscommunications there are going to be? You want to know how many things are going to get lost in translation? There's no air energy. I mean, yeah, Mercury is going to be at home in Virgo, but still, like, we're going to have no air. We're going to have barely any water. Neptune, which energy can be subtle, was retrograde in Pisces, and then we have the North Node in Cancer. And then as far as fire, we got Chiron, whose energy can also be subtle, and then Jupiter in Sagittarius. We are heading to Earth City, which means that things are going to start to materialize and manifest. And that's why I say that if you go into this Virgo season and you don't believe in your sacred heart, and you don't believe in that unconditional love, and you don't hold space for yourself to create and to express yourself and to express that passion and that joy, and even if you don't have external examples, stimuli, validation, even if you don't have that, will you continue to be you anyways? Because by the time Virgo season comes around and it's done, Saturn's going to be coming forward. Let's just look a little bit ahead. So by the time that happens, in approximately a month from now, everything's going to be moving past Mars. Saturn's going to be coming forward. Jupiter's going to be, of course, forward. Uranus will be retrograde. Chiron's going to be retrograde. So yeah, we'll have another planet that comes back online. We have Jupiter that came back online. Then we're going to have Saturn that came back online. The planets are going to slowly start to come back online. Things are going to slowly start to pick up. It's going to be kind of a slow process, though. You got to understand, with all these retrograde planets, even though Leo season went by fast, manifestation has kind of slowed down a bit, but it's going to start to pick back up. The second half of this year, I'm telling you, it's actually going to fly by. It's going to fly by so fast, and then we're going to wake up and we're going to be in the 2020 portal. Is that what we're about to do? We're going to fight? If y'all haven't already, y'all need to watch that 70s show. That 70s show would teach you about relationships. I'm telling you, that show will teach you about relationships, man. That is such a great show to learn about relationships. It really is. Like, if I was teaching a class on relationships, we would probably just watch that 70s show. Yeah, it's funny. It's a comedy, whatever like that. It's goofy, but it is so on point about a lot of those themes and stuff. It's great. Very underrated show. Super underrated show. Anyways, let's end this with a card, shall we? Let's end this with a card. Let's see what we got here. We'll pull a card from The Answer is Simple Oracle deck. Let's pull a card. The feminine is moving beyond the masculine. I would say that the feminine is more or so taking lead. It's like as if they're dancing, because Mars and Venus do have this dance where Mars will take the lead and then Venus will take the lead. So yeah, Venus is about to take the lead right now. And some people are not going to be happy about it. Some people are not going to be happy about it. In the words of my Scorpio self, I am a Scorpio sun, and I'm a Sagittarius rising. The woman's about to be on top. The feminine is about to be on top, if you know what I mean. And I personally don't have any issues with that. Anyways. We got a little suggestive there. For a moment. Forgive me. My Scorpio, my Sag kind of came out a little bit. Came out there a bit. Oh, we got a few cards that came out. What do we have here? Oh, wow. Okay. So we have fun. We have fun. We have turn on the light. And we have keep dancing. These are all such positive cards, and I really love this deck. Have fun, turn on the light, keep dancing. Turn on the light. If there are moments where you are feeling down, simply turn on the light. Even practice it. If you're having a moment where you aren't really feeling in like your highest expression, if you're sad about something or upset, depressed, anxious, worried, literally walk into a room, like a dark room, and just turn on the light for no apparent reason at all. Turn on the light and see how that makes you feel. Do so with awareness. Do so consciously. Thank you, Lauren, for helping me realize that the other day. Turn on the light. These two go hand in hand. Keep dancing and have fun. Keep dancing and have fun. These are the messages of this Leo season. Turn on the light. You are the light. You know, Leo is ruled by the sun. So this is about shining our light, shining our true, authentic self. Turn on your light, beloved. Have you been showing who you really are unapologetically? Have you been hiding it because you're afraid of what other people are going to say? Oh my gosh, did you see so-and-so? They did this, this, and this. Yeah, well, if you don't like it, oh well! I guess your opinion matters, does it? Like, and you don't have to be a dick about it like that. You know, you don't have to be like mean about it like that. But like seriously, like if people are talking shit, if people are throwing shade, that's really on them. That's really on them. And yes, none of us are squeaky clean. We all have darkness. We all have shadows. I actually saw this interesting video the other day. It was like one of those try not to laugh challenges, and there was this little girl that saw her shadow, and she got her friend started running away. And I'm like, wow, like there was such a great lesson in that, because a lot of times we will look at our shadow and we will run away, but our shadow is always there. It's always there. I don't know if it's there in your dreams. I don't think it technically is. I don't think you technically have a shadow in your dreams. I'm gonna have to check that. But our shadow is there, right? And it's something that we can't really escape, but we try to escape it. We try to put it into a box. We try to demonize it. But if you look down, if you look to the side, it's always going to be there. So instead of trying to demonize the shadow, we should learn to integrate the shadow. Realize that it's a part of us. And, you know, it serves a purpose just as much as the light does. But have fun and keep dancing, you know. Have fun and keep dancing. Go out and do something fun this weekend. You know, yeah, these energies are going to be moving into Virgo, but yeah, go out and do something fun this weekend. Do something you've never done before. Do something that you've done 20 times, but just go and do it that 21st time because you enjoy it so damn much. You know, go watch a new movie or watch your favorite movie again for the 500th time because you love it so much, right? I love Rush Hour 2. I don't know if it's like on Hulu or Netflix or anything like that, but I love Rush Hour 2. It's probably like my favorite movie of all time, and like I want to watch that sometime over the next like 30 days or something like that. But it's such a funny movie. The blooper is great at the end, and I don't care that I've seen it that many times. I have fun watching it every single time. So it's like that's just what it is. So like if it's something that you have fun doing, and if it keeps you dancing in life, and it has you express that light, express that love, that passion, and even a little bit of the shadow, but you remember to turn on the light, then don't worry about it. Don't worry about what other people think, what other people say, what other people feel. Yes, you're going to intercept those thoughts and those feelings, but discern what is truly yours, and also realize that even those thoughts and those feelings are something that may be yours, that you aren't, at the end of the day, those thoughts and those feelings. You have those thoughts and you have those feelings, just like other people have those thoughts and have those feelings. But that's not who we really are. There's something deeper to that. There's something a lot deeper that we each are. And it is something that is divine, pure, and sacred. So many people have vitamin D deficiency. I need to get on some vitamin D. I just signed up with the business coach. Perfect for Virgo season. See, exactly. Perfect. Very good. I'm probably just going to go ham on Virgo season because this is my 10th house. So I'm going to just like be super freaking productive. At least that's the plan. The plan is just to go like mad productive for Virgo season. So especially as things begin to conjunct my Jupiter, because my Virgo midhaven is kind of late. It's like 21 degrees, which is a good degree to have it at, by the way. But in the words of Christopher Witecki, 21 is when it starts to get fun. So, but anyways, yeah, this Leo season has been awesome. It's great. We are watching the movie. We're about to step out of the theater and about to talk about the movie and see how we feel about the movie. And then we're going to be like living the movie, the new reality. And it's going to be intense. It's going to be fun. Because the next time that we get this on in Leo, like let's just look at advance just for fun, just for shits and giggles. Let's see what happens the next time the sun's going to be in Leo, which some of this I should have already known on the top of my head, of course. The North Node is going to be in Gemini. Jupiter's going to be in Capricorn. So definitely major shifts right there. Because, the sun's going to be sextiling over to that North Node energy. And it's going to be trining that South Node energy. Ooh, I cannot wait for this North Node, South Node, and Gemini, Sagittarius, respectively. I cannot wait for it. Like, you think people are trolling right now? You think people are, like, savage right now? Like, trolling is going to be taken to a whole new level in Gemini, Sagittarius, North Node, South Node. That's a video in and of itself. That's a video in and of itself. But in any event, I love you all so much. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I need to go blow my nose. I know that's gross, but I need to go blow my nose. But, oh, Sig, you just came on. I was just about to leave, but hi. How are you doing? Thank you so much for joining. Oh, myself. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Let me see. Okay, here it is. All right. Wow, I've been live for an hour still. Very good, very good. Well, in any event, my friends, that is it for this video. I hope that you all enjoyed it. Really excited. Oh yeah, the news that I forgot to share. I'm probably gonna be making a promo video about this probably tomorrow or something like that. I have revamped my website. So my website, astrofenixx.com, I have revamped it. I think it looks a lot better. It looks cleaner. It feels more interactive. So the only weird thing about it is that I was trying to embed the YouTube into one of the pages, and for some reason it's not coming up. So I have to like finagle with it a little bit. But I have a new revamped website. So what I'm going to be doing is that as of right now, there's no coupon on the website, whatever like that. But after I get off of this live, I'm going to take several of the services that I have, and I'm going to be putting a coupon on them. So if you look at this video in the morning or something like that, or if you refresh this in about maybe 20 minutes or so, look in the description below, and there's going to be a new coupon code, and it's going to be the same percentage off that I did in July. It's going to be 33% off of that particular service, but there's going to be a new coupon code, and you'll get to see my new and improved website. I'm excited. The new Astro Fenixx. I'm really excited about that. That's something I've been wanting to do for a while, and I finally got it done, and I think it looks great. So just happy to share that with you all. But in any event, yeah, if you like the reading, visit me on my new website, Astro Fenixx. Follow me on Instagram. I do a daily tarot card pull, and I've been going live on Instagram lately. I've done like 3 or 4 lives on there, so that's been fun. I'm on Facebook, but I honestly don't really use my Facebook that often. I need to really step up my Facebook game. But in any event, stick around. I would love to chat it up with you guys again, and I can't wait for the next live video. And as always, my beautiful brothers and sisters, always remember to keep moving forward, to stay focused, and Yahoo! Smile often. I wonder if you guys can hear like my crazy nasal passages. Anyways, whatever. Peace.